is assemble from bottom to top an entire hipdisartic prosthetic leg. So, let's talk about what's at the bottom. At the bottom, we have a carbon fiber foot that would look something like this without the shell. So, if you're not familiar with prosthetic feet, almost all of them now are carbon fiber. Various designs, obviously you know the blade, that's all carbon fiber too. It's just a different design and different flexion and different output and that good engineering stuff. But so I want to show you, this is a foot with a shell. So essentially this goes inside of here. So you know, you can imagine this is the foot with a shell, but in all reality this is what it is. So on my prosthetic leg I have a foot, and that attaches to a knee. In this case it's a SeaLeg. I don't know if you folks have seen a SeaLeg before, but here it is, a SeaLeg knee. Older version. Up here you can see the plug-in for power, and this is a plug-in for programming. But this knee, in my opinion, is fabulous. It has those microprocessors in there that, you know, determine what kind of terrain you're on and whether or not you need the hydraulic on. So right here you can see the hydraulic piston that controls the pressure when this knee swings through. Now the cool thing about this knee, and I'll show you this in a second, is that when you get pressure on the toe, the knee releases and it's a free swing knee. But if you get into trouble and it senses it needs to kick on the hydraulic, it will do that to you. So that's essential for walking downstairs and or hills, uneven terrain. So instead of your knee collapsing or buckling and collapsing, it hydraulic kicks on and kind of saves you. But what is invaluable really is a set of metric Allen wrenches. If you have a prosthetic device, there, you know, all this stuff is, most of it's, well, I can't say most of it, but Autobox made in Germany, it's all metric. You have to have a metric set. I'm not sure about some of the American companies. What they use is probably metric as well, I'm not sure. But this is a 4mm Allen wrench that I pull right out of here. And if you have this, you can do almost everything. So I have this. So I'm going to attach this foot to the knee. Now this is actually really simple. You have four grub nuts on this pylon and attached to this bracket. So this simply goes into here, and I have a little secret to share in a second. I have to open this up a little bit. The secret to this is only undoing two of these, because if you only undo two, you don't mess up all the alignment stuff. So I'm loosening these up, and in theory, this should go in. So I'm making sure my knee is facing forward, the foot's facing forward. I get it on there. Now it's ready to go on. Okay, you can see that. So I'm just going to try to hold this on my shoulder and tighten it so you can see. I just use this Allen wrench to tighten up these grub nuts. Okay. That one's a little old. You can hear it squeaking. It needs a little oil. So these different grub nuts actually change the adjustment and the pitch of the foot on the pylon here. I'm just going to snug it up. I'm not going to do anything crazy, just enough to get it to stick on there. So there it is. The foot is attached to the pylon, which leads to the knee. And we're pretty far into it already. So again, if you play with these grub nuts, you can change the pitch of the foot up and down and side to side. Okay, so that's that. So this piece is assembled. Now I'm a hipdisartic amputee, so I have a few more components. So next on the list, I have covered the ankle, the knee, and now we have to cover the hip. So here comes the hip. And I love this hip from Autobach. It's the Helix hip system. And within this, you can see some cool things, and I might talk about this at a later time. But this is also hydraulic, and you can control the stance phase and the swing phase of the gait, as well as control this is a stride limiter. It controls how far your hip will swing out. So I'm going to attach this now. Same deal. We have these grub nuts here. There are 4 of them as well. And again, you make sure this is facing forward. This is facing forward. We just simply slide it on there. Get our Allen wrench. Snug it up. Okay. Now this is my previous prosthetic. So this isn't the one I wear. It's just kind of sitting around for demonstration purposes. Alright, so I tighten all those up. And again, I'm just going to kind of snug it up for time's sake. So now we have the foot, the knee, and the hip. And I'm almost there. Okay. So there's only one thing left, and that's the socket. And here it is. This is a hipdisartic style socket. You can see that this would just wrap around my waist. You know, it goes around my waist, it fits right on there. So I'm going to attach that next. So I take the socket and I'm going to put it on the front here where it attaches. There's that. So this has 2 bolts in it. I'm going to put this here. Get that started with my hand. Get my Allen wrench going. And I'm just going to snug this up. I'm not going to tighten it like somebody was going to wear it, because I'm not going to wear it. Alright, so that's on there. Okay. And actually, with this on there, you can kind of see how this hip works. You can see these extension assist bands on here. They're very firm. I don't want to call them rubber because they're not. They're almost like plastic. But you can see if I let this go, it wants to cause that hip to start coming out. So it assists me with that forward motion of the hip. And again, this is all hydraulic in here. There's just way more control with this hip than the previous multiple generations, many years prior to this. The one prior to this was just a spring-loaded hinge, and it was very hard to control. This one is fabulous. And you can see it's very heavy duty. Like, I do major activity with this thing, and it always holds up. So there we have it. We have the foot, the knee, the hip, and the socket. And that's a complete hipdisartic prosthetic device. And when you think about it, like sometimes I think about it, I'm like, how the heck do I wear this and run and jump and do those things? I don't know. But it is possible. All right. Thank you. Have a good one.